The internet is not the curated, sanitized space we often pretend it is. It's a vast, chaotic repository of human nature in all its forms. Beyond the polished surfaces of social media and news aggregators, there exist dark corners and digital alleys filled with things that were never meant for a casual audience. These are not just places of fiction, they're databases of despair, windows into troubled minds, and experiences designed to leave you deeply unsettled. Today, we're exploring 10 of those places' websites you should probably never visit. First on our list is a deceptively simple site called Staggering Beauty. Initially, you are greeted by a black, worm-like figure with 2 white eyes, swaying gently against a plain white background. The only instruction is to shake your mouse vigorously, giving into curiosity. You do just that, and the figure begins to flail wildly, its movements mirroring your own. It seems like a harmless, silly distraction for a few seconds. But then, without any warning, the screen erupts into a violent seizure of flashing colors and distorted, deafening music. The experience is incredibly jarring, a cheap but brutally effective jump scare designed to prey on your sense of security. It's a perfect example of how the internet can turn from playful to hostile in an instant. Next, we move from a manufactured shock to a more existential dread with a site that visualizes the world's births and deaths in real time. On the surface, it's a simple data visualization tool, showing green dots for births and red dots for deaths popping up on a world map. However, watching it for more than a few moments induces a strange and hollow feeling. You see the constant, relentless pulse of life beginning and ending, a silent, ceaseless digital ticker of human existence. The sheer scale of it, the cold and personal way it displays these profoundly significant events, reduces everyone to a mere statistic. It's a stark and uncomfortable reminder of our own fleeting place in a world of billions. From the scale of the entire world, we narrow our focus to a single, morbidly personal question with the death clock. This is a classic of the early, darker internet. Simple form that asks for your date of birth, your gender, your body mass index, and your disposition: optimistic, pessimistic, or sadistic. After you input your information and click a button, the site provides you with a date, the supposed day of your death. Of course, it's just an algorithm making a guess based on averages and lifestyle choices. But seeing that date, your personal expiration date presented with such cold certainty, can leave a chilling impression that lingers long after you've closed the browser tab. The next site on our list deals with a different kind of unreality. It's called This Person Does Not Exist, and every time you refresh the page, it presents you with a new, photorealistic human face generated by an artificial intelligence. At first glance, the faces look perfectly normal, like professional headshots or candid selfies. But the longer you look, the more the uncanny valley effect begins to set in. Start to notice the subtle, nightmarish flaws in the AI's creation, an earring that morphs into the background, a single tooth that seems just a little too sharp, or a set of eyes that are perfectly rendered but utterly devoid of life. It's a gallery of ghosts, a collection of people who were never born and will never die, and it serves as a deeply unsettling look at the future of digital forgery. Now we visit a place that is very real. It feels just as ghostly. Hashima Island on Google Street View, also known as Gunkanjima or Battleship Island. This was once a thriving coal mining facility in Japan, home to over 5,000 people packed onto a tiny rock. However, after the coal ran out in 1974, it was abandoned almost overnight. Today, you can virtually walk its deserted streets. The experience is profoundly eerie. You can glide through concrete corridors, peer into decaying apartment blocks, and stand in the middle of schoolyards being slowly reclaimed by nature. There are no jump scares or manufactured frights here, just the heavy, oppressive silence of a place that was once full of life and is now just a monument to decay. Our sixth entry takes us into the mind of a convicted killer. For a period of time, Joseph E. Duncan, III, a man on death row for committing horrific crimes, maintained a blog called The Fifth Nail. His writings provided a direct and unfiltered look into his thoughts, his justifications, and his daily life in prison. The website itself was stark and simple, mostly just text. The horror wasn't in the design, but in the content, the chillingly calm and articulate way he wrote about his own darkness. Reading it felt like a transgression. an act of digital voyeurism into the heart of something truly evil. The site has since been taken down, but its legacy as one of the most disturbing blogs to ever exist remains. Next, we look at a site that has been responsible for birthing modern folklore. creepypasta.com. This website is a massive archive of user-submitted horror stories and internet urban legends. It's the origin point of infamous figures like Jeff the Killer and Eyeless Jack. While many of the stories are formulaic, the site's true creepiness lies in its influence on the real world. This was the digital playground where the legend of Slender Man was born and cultivated. That fiction bled into reality in 2014 when two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin attempted to murder their friend, claiming they did it to appease the fictional character. The website itself is just a collection of stories, but it stands as a testament to the power of shared delusion, and how easily the lines between fantasy and reality can blur. The eighth site on our list is an exercise in pure psychological frustration, a website deliberately designed to feel like a nightmare. It's less of a destination and more of a malicious trap. It presents you with what looks like a normal form to fill out, but every action you take is met with a hostile and illogical response. Checkboxes uncheck themselves, pop-ups cover the fields you need to fill, and condescending error messages mock your attempts to proceed. There is no goal and no way to win. The entire point of the website is to erode your patience and make you feel a complete loss of control. It's a small-scale simulation of madness, and it is remarkably effective at being unsettling. We now turn to something far more somber and real. Plane Crash Info is a website that serves as a massive, detailed database of aviation accidents. While much of the site is technical data, there is one section that is particularly haunting: the collection of cockpit voice recorder transcripts from doomed flights. These are the last words of pilots and crew members in their final moments. Reading the transcripts is a harrowing experience. You see the language shift from calm, professional jargon to confusion, then to panic, and finally, in many cases, to a chilling silence. There is no gore or sensationalism, just the stark, textual evidence of tragedy as it unfolded, and it's one of the most respectful, yet deeply disturbing things you can find online. Finally, we arrive at a site that shares a similar theme of morbid documentation. The website presents a comprehensive list of last meals requested by death row inmates in Texas. You scroll through a list of names, and next to each name is the inmate's final statement, if they gave one, and a detailed description of their last meal. The requests range from the extravagant, like lobster and steak, to the strangely simple, like a single olive or a jar of pickles. The juxtaposition of these mundane, human details with the gravity of their situation and the often brutal nature of their crimes is profoundly unsettling. It's a stark catalog of final moments, a quiet testament to a part of the human experience most of us will never know. The discussions on these digital artifacts and what they say about our own curiosity often continue long after the pages themselves are closed.